Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Peter Guzman joins us. He's the president of the Nevada Latin Chamber of Commerce, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room of the Nevada Builders Alliance. Coverage of the 2025 legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Retail Association of Nevada, looking out for business. And by Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are always delighted to welcome back to the program Peter Guzman. He is the president of the Latin Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, Sam. You know, I always enjoy doing the show with you. You've been doing this a long time, and I want you to know that you're very appreciated out here in the communities and helping us get the word out.
Well, thank you, sir. I want to talk about something that I found fascinating. Sadly, of course, Pope Francis passed last night as we are taping this program. And I wanted to get, first of all, your thought on that and him.
Well, listen, you know, it's sad. He's definitely had a good life. And in the path that he chose, he's made a tremendous impact. And of course, it's always sad to see folks like this go. He did have a servant's mentality, and for that I respect. And I know a lot of people are definitely mourning his passing today.
To say the least. What I thought was fascinating and to an extent ironic was that one of the last people he met was J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance had become a Catholic and is a Catholic. And I just would be fascinated to know not so much the conversation which was recorded with the Pope himself, but the conversation with the Pope's counselors who had also met with J.D. Vance.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a fascinating conversation, and I'm sure we're going to hear at least bits and pieces of it here soon. But I think it was a great moment for the two of them to get together and share some thoughts, especially with our vice president, being Catholic now. I'm sure that conversation was fascinating.
Yeah, to say the least. Let's turn our attention to the governor's race in Nevada. A fascinating time here. Former Governor Sisolak is looking at throwing his hat into the ring. Attorney General Ford has already said that he's in. There's talk of Steve Yeager. But in talking to a lot of people, quite a few of them are saying to me they don't think any of those three are going to end up being the candidate, that there might be another person to come forward. Your thoughts on that?
You know, and that's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that somebody comes out that we weren't necessarily expecting. It's still early, right? We're still kind of in this session, kind of in the middle of the session, because bills are going to start dropping quickly now, and there's going to be a lot of maneuvering, a lot of politics, and I think that's where all the energy is right now. So listen, I think people throw their names around, see what kind of reception they get. But, Sam, a lot of this comes down to one thing, and that's, can you raise money? And can you raise serious money? Because it takes serious money to run for office today, and especially for governor. I mean, that's going to take a lot of money. Governor Lombardo, as you know, already has quite a bit of money on hand, and we'll see. The session is a challenging time. We'll see what the end of the session comes, and I think that'll start dictating. But then you're going to see a very quick shift to really running for governor by all and any that's going to run. That's when it gets really, really serious, and you got to raise a lot of money.
I remember when Governor Gwynn, when he was running, at the very beginning, they put out that he had raised already, before becoming governor, $3 million. And everybody was shocked. It was like, wow, that's a lot of money. It's 20 odd years ago. I was in D.C. a couple of years ago talking about how Steve Sisolak had raised $15 million for his gubernatorial campaign. And I was with two Democratic muckety-mucks, let's just say that. And they looked at me and said, Sam, in Nevada politics, $15 million is nothing. I mean, what kind of numbers are we looking at here? Because it's not just what the governor himself will raise or what the PAC will raise. It's all this outside money that will come in as well.
I mean, I can't see less than $50 million to run for governor.
50 million.
50.
That's astonishing. That is astonishing.
Yeah, I could easily see 40 to 50 million, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but it's going to be in those numbers. California's over 100 million. So it takes a lot of money to run, and who's going to be the prolific fundraiser? Who's going to be able to raise the money? That's going to matter.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. All right, let's talk about some national issues that are going on. I want to get your thoughts on, because...
So you're not going to tell us who you're pulling for governor?
Well, yeah, if I throw my hat into the ring, I'll let you know. All right, let's talk about these tariffs. Now, to me, what's been interesting is that if you look back, Donald Trump put on tariffs in his first term. The Biden administration came in. They didn't remove most of the tariffs. They kept the tariffs. So that shouldn't be a shock. And there's video of Nancy Pelosi talking about tariffs being a good thing. How do you feel at this moment in time tariffs are A, working or not, B, where they're heading and how this could affect the election cycle? Because we are already into the next election cycle for the House.
Yeah, so a lot to unwrap there. So you are absolutely correct. There's a reason why Biden kept some of those tariffs in there, because they were beneficial, right? We're in an interesting time right now because of the 24/7 news cycle, ability to get everybody riled up very, very quickly. It's almost instantaneous. Like if you don't see results from something immediately, instantaneously, people start freaking out. We know the media, they're slanted in a lot of ways. So the story they tell each and every day creates some anxiety and unrest, right? But at the end of the day, here's what I do know. I do know that we've been on the bad end of a lot of trade issues, a lot other countries' economies, right? They're able to sell here, yet we try to sell anywhere else, and we got massive tariffs on us, or the pricing's unfair. A lot of unfairness, right? If this is indeed the route that Trump said he was going to go, and he did during the campaign, listen, I hope it works out. I know a lot of countries. South Korea is coming in here today as we tape. I'm hoping that he starts cutting deals with all these countries that absolutely need our economy. That's what I do know. They can bluff all they want. The world needs the American economy. It just does. And so that is working in our favor. China's, definitely a nervous group to deal with, because do they care about their people as much as we do? Will they let their people suffer longer than we would here? In a tariff war? These are all unknowns. But I do know that we have to address this. This is what I'm really pissed off about, Sam. I'm pissed off about the fact that we've kicked this can down the road, just like we've done immigration, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. We've kicked this can down the road. Washington, D.C. has really developed a business plan that, in my opinion, screws America, but people getting rich in the process. So we've kind of let China do whatever they want. We let countries treat us however they want. I think time's up, man. Like we have a massive amount of debt that we need to address. And, at this point, I don't care if it's a D or an R or who is going to address it. It needed to be addressed, and it kind of seems like it's finally being addressed. And I'm good with that. Now, as far as the elections, because you brought that up, yeah, at the end of the day, what's going to matter in 2026? The price of gas and the price of groceries. Do people have extra money in their pocket? It's never anything other than that. James Carville was right when he said it years ago. It's basically about your wallet. It's always about your wallet. If people, on the day they're going to pull the trigger to elect somebody, they got more money in their hands. The people that are in office are going to benefit from that. If people are suffering, then there's going to be hell to pay.
Well, Carville's exact quote was, "It's the economy, stupid."
There you go.
So no disagreement there. Harry Reid on this program, in one of the last interviews I did with him when he was working out of the Bellagio in Las Vegas, said that the tipping point had already passed for the debt. And I said to him at the time, I hear that, and I've been hearing it for years, but we've not really seen, the effect of this. But now we are, because really, to me, what's happening is we're inflating the debt away because we're making the currency less valuable. And that's why your groceries are more expensive, why everything is more expensive. And I don't see a reversal of that. I think that, when you see wage increases, they have to be matched by price increases. And, the value of the dollar becomes less. Look at you're very much involved in the housing market. Look at the value of homes at this point in time. People can't afford them, and it's because the value has become so inflated. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, it almost sounds like you're just washing your hands with it and say we just gotta have to live with that. I'm not there yet. I think we have to address it. I think we have to be smarter in our budgets, smarter in our spending. We need to be just smarter, because we can't leave this debt to our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and expect them to have great lives, or only a few having great lives. No, we have to address this, and I think it's time to address it. And we got to hold people accountable who don't address it.
All right, but
you can't just keep printing money. That's not a good way of doing it.
I don't disagree, but a giant chunk of the economy is based on the federal government paying down the debt, or the interest on the debt. You also have a situation.
But you got to increase revenue.
Well, yes, you do have to increase revenue, but increased revenue comes from taxes, and you can't cut the major causes of the debt, which would be Social Security, Medicare, Veterans Administration. Medicaid. You can't cut those things, with a scythe, and you're not going to cut the budget for military at this point in time, which is really a number that's completely out of control.
I don't disagree with some of that stuff, but every department needs to be looked at and making sure that it's being run efficiently. You're not giving any credit to, these agencies need to run efficient as well. They're doing great work, but they got to run efficient. They can't have 1,000 more employees than they really need, right? Automation is going to have to play a part in this. We got to increase revenues and we got to run more efficiently.
Well, I don't disagree with you. And I think that, that's one of the things that's missed in what's going on with, some of these firings across government agencies. Nobody except the workers complains when Ford, for example, lays off 10,000 people and shuts down a factory. When corporations do that, there isn't the fuss. But
exactly.
But we are obviously making a big fuss about government employees. And when I say we, I don't mean literally you and I. But this is not something that shouldn't be looked at. But the numbers are minuscule by comparison. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't be done because I think it should be done.
We don't know that yet. We don't know if they're minuscule yet. We're just digging into that. And we need to develop a culture in DC, a culture of like private business, that we can't just spend and print and hire all you want. That's not, those days are over. If we don't develop that kind of culture, then the future doesn't look very bright.
All right. Well, on that happy note, let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll make some money to pay for this show, and we'll be right back.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our spirited conversation with Peter Guzman, who's the president of the Nevada Latin Chamber of Commerce. The stock market obviously has had its own issues. Normally the bond market responds and people find relief in the bond market, but we're not finding it there either. Your thoughts on that and why?
Again, scary time when you have this 24/7 cycle where it's just, sometimes doom and gloom sold to you 24/7. That it does affect the markets a little bit. And so the tariffs, the unknowns of the tariffs, you got multiple things going on, multiple potential either wars going on or potential wars happening. All that creates instability. Yes, it is now making the bond market act differently than it has in the past. And, I don't have an answer for that, Sam. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's a little out of the realm of why that's happening because it's all so new. Obviously, it's tariff talk and that is scaring the markets and the investors.
And that's something that should really be pointed out, which is that these markets are, don't respond to common sense and fact. They respond to emotion.
100%. Now, again, I am always positive, right? When I see the market goes down, guess which way it can only go? Up. And so there are buying opportunities. And those, listen, that's a fact of life. There are those who made a ton of money last week. Okay? There are people that made a ton of money, and there was stock that went down that are great companies that, you just got to believe they're going to go back up. And that's what investors do, right? I mean, unless the world just ends, there are companies, there are Wells Fargo's and Bank of America's in banking that are gonna survive, and those are, if those stock go down, you got to buy because they're going to go back up. And if you look at the markets over a long term, because that's what markets are about, and retirement accounts, it's a long game. It always does well. I believe in America.
No, and I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that what I try to say to people is take a deep breath. Don't look at your portfolio every day. Just leave it be, and talk to your broker and take some good advice. Let's take another break. We'll be right back, and we will hit that topic that you love so much, immigration, after this timeout. We'll be right back.
It.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino during the $150,000 Denim and Diamonds giveaways, with cash and free play drawings every Thursday and Saturday, and $30,000 in grand finale giveaways Saturday, May 31st, including a top prize of $20,000 guaranteed. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org. Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Peter Guzman. He's the president of the Nevada Latin Chamber of Commerce. Fascinating statistic on the border. The number of people coming over from Mexico at this point in time is pretty much down to zero. Would you have ever believed this?
Well, let's think about that. Let's think about what you just said. Again, you know me, Sam. I sit across the table with D's and R's, right? I'm not obsessed with political party. I'm obsessed with doing what's great and right for this country. Now, under Joe Biden, what did Biden say? Can't do it. Can't secure the border. Can't secure the borders. And just literally people were flooding through. And then all of a sudden, we get a new president and the border's secure. Nobody's coming through. Like, we really should analyze that, and people should pay a price for saying something like that, because every country in the world, I'm pretty sure every country in the world protects their borders. That doesn't make you racist or anti-anything. You are supposed to protect your borders, know who's coming and going. And somehow we just threw that out the window, and it's disgusting. It's more disgusting than when you and I originally started talking about immigration, because all it continues to do is create a hatred towards immigrants.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that. And I would have to disagree a little bit that there are lots of countries in Europe that have lost control of their borders. And
how's that worked out?
Oh, no, it's not worked out well at all. No, I'm not disagreeing on that. And I also think that the toughest measures that the administration is taking by sending people who have come across the border illegally to horrible prisons in El Salvador is certainly a warning signal to other people in Mexico, don't come. And so
let's think about that, Sam. Let's get people to stop thinking that only Mexicans come across that border in Mexico, because that's not true at all. And so I want to say that real emphatically. Number two, when we start talking about deportations, that's another conversation, one for a whole show, which you and I will do hopefully. And because listen, I'm not for, I'm not really necessarily for mass deportation of everybody, right? He ran on a campaign saying he was going to get rid of the most violent. And that's exactly where we should be.
Well, I don't believe that mass deportation is going to happen, because the country would collapse if it did. And sadly,
not if we deported the most violent, which, by the way,
no, I'm not talking about violent. No, everybody agrees on that. I'm talking about mass deportation of people who work in the farm industry, or mass deportation of people who work in the service industry.
I agree, but Sam, if we're gonna agree on deportation of the most violent, then let's do that. I'm told by law enforcement across this country, many are my friends that are in law enforcement, and tell me that there's many, they know where a large chunk of the most violent that got through, they know where they're at. Let's focus on that.
Okay, and we'll focus on that being the last thing, because we are out of time. I love you. I always appreciate you being here. I'll see you in person next week.
You got it, Sam. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room of the Nevada Builders Alliance. Coverage of the 2025 legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Retail Association of Nevada, looking out for business. And by Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, come to you from Carson City, from the headquarters of the Nevada Builders Alliance. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching.